Okay, well, I guess it's my turn to talk about this topic. Hello, guys, and in today's video, I'll be going over Naruto versus Luffy and why it isn't a close matchup at all. Please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. So, I'll first go over Naruto since I feel like it's easier to do so. But to start off, Kurama in the data book was stated to be able to turn the world to ash. And because of Kurama and Naruto's massive amount of chakra, the Earth's spatial curvature increased from a 10 to a 16, which is an abnormality. We know that Naruto ranges from at least planetary to around possibly star level or even higher, like solar system level. Kaguya's expansive truth-seeking orb was stated that it would destroy Kaguya's root dimension, and this dimension has a star in it and a day and night cycle. Now, I've seen many calcs and explanations of this feat, and the majority of what I have seen does fit within the planetary to possibly solar system's level of power. But for now, I'll just say that the feat is around at least star to solar system level. And for Naruto, during the last movie, Toneri was stated to be the strongest enemy so far. Now, I've heard reasons for people believing that the statement is saying Toneri is the strongest enemy that the ninja world has ever faced. And while it does make sense, I think it's more so talking about the strongest enemy Naruto himself has faced, as opposed to the ninja world. Because the ninja world never fought Kaguya, Team 7 did. And it would make sense for it to be a personal journey or story for Naruto, since he did take Hinata, and this is a story about him actually figuring out his feelings for her. So that's just my opinion. And it also does say that he is the strongest enemy, and when reading the description, it says that it brings up him plotting to destroy the world and trying to destroy Naruto. Honestly, though, if you do believe it can be talking about the ninja world or Naruto himself, that's fine, either or. Anyways, the point is, though, that Toneri should be stronger than Kaguya, especially if we're talking about him in his Tenseigan mode. To further prove that Toneri is the strongest enemy, not only was he able to split the moon in half, but he was also relative to Sage of Six Paths 19-year-old Naruto, and his golem was beating up Naruto's Kurama avatar before he lost the Tenseigan. And another point I'd like to add is that he was able to one-shot Toneri with a punch that was stated within the novel to be his full might. So not only has Naruto gained strength from after the end of Shippuden, even during this movie, he should be around star to solar system level as well, and defeated someone who was stronger than Kaguya. But I'll reiterate this again just so nobody forgets. Toneri in his Tenseigan mode was relative to Six Paths Sage Mode Naruto during this fight. If he was weaker than Kaguya by any capacity, he would have lost extremely quickly, possibly even more quickly than he originally did, which is something people seem to forget. And his golem was beating up Naruto's Kurama avatar, as I said before, which is stronger than Naruto's base form. So yeah. On to the Boruto era, he doesn't really fight much ever since becoming Hokage, but he does battle against the likes of Momoshiki, and him alongside Kinshiki were both stated to be stronger than Kaguya, with Kinshiki stated to being able to split worlds. With Momoshiki obviously being the stronger of the two, you could argue that this statement also applies to him as well. They were even stated to not be inferior to Naruto and Sasuke in terms of strength, which further supports them being stronger than Kaguya, since Naruto and Sasuke both got stronger during the 16-year gap or 12-year gap during the time skip. And Naruto and Sasuke individually were getting pressed by Fuse Momoshiki, and they needed to team up in order to actually defeat him. And he fights Delta, who should be stronger than Fuse Momoshiki, as Naruto is stronger than he was when he fought Momoshiki due to training, and also fights against the likes of Jigen and Ishiki. And with all of this out of the way, I can talk about Baryon Mode Naruto, so let's get into that. Baryon Mode Naruto's main gimmick is that it can shave off someone's life force and kill them, and that it gives him a substantial increase with his chakra, but the downside to this is that his and Kurama's chakra mash together and destroy themselves, making the form have a time limit. So once their chakra runs out, Kurama is essentially gone. So Naruto has to use this form to the best of his ability by removing unnecessary thoughts and not making unnecessary moves during the fight. And now that I've gone over Naruto's AP, I'll cover his speed next. During his fight with Six Paths Madara, he was able to dodge Madara's light fang technique from point blank range, which was stated to be an actual beam of light that was being fired from Madara's mouth. So this should make Naruto, at least during this time, speed of light, possibly faster. Some people might try and downplay this feat and say, oh, well, maybe Madara wasn't moving his neck or turning it at the speed of light or something like that. But what makes the technique light speed is not Madara moving his neck at light speed. It's that the light from the technique shoots out of his mouth at light speed, which isn't contradicted. Naruto then grows significantly in both power and speed after the end of Shippuden to the Boruto era. He then fights Delta, a cyborg who is not only stronger than at least majority of Naruto's previous opponents up until this point, but is also faster as well. Delta also has light beams she can shoot at people, and Naruto on multiple occasions dodges them with ease and never gets hit by them. Kawaki also states that these are actual beams of light that are being fired, and that if they were to hit Naruto, he wouldn't be able to regenerate because he's much faster than when he fought Madara, and Delta herself should be stronger than Six Paths Madara. As well, it should be clear that Naruto is much faster than he previously was during the time, meaning that he should be at least massively faster than Light, which also again shouldn't be contradicted. Not to mention, during part 1 of Naruto, Haku was stated to be able to move between his crystal ice mirrors at light speed. Now, let me just clarify this just so people won't get confused. Haku doesn't move at light speed. He moves between his mirrors at light speed, which is why Sasuke and Naruto couldn't keep up with the movements, and Sasuke was barely able to dodge said attacks from Haku while he was moving between his mirrors. But to further add on to this point, Naruto, when he went KM0, was able to not only tag Haku while he was moving between his mirrors, but was also reacting to Haku and his attacks as well. If you don't believe Haku was moving at the speed of light between his mirrors, I'm going to reiterate this one more time. Sasuke himself said that, and he was actually shown to not being able to keep up with Haku's movements or attacks at all. And he could only just barely dodge one of Haku's attacks because of his Sharingan's precognition. And Naruto's power and speed increase was so great that he went from being weaker than both Kakashi and Zabuza to making Kakashi fearful of the Nine-Tails chakra and possibly being stronger than the both of them. So we have Naruto, who is around star level to solar system level because of Kaguya being able to destroy her Genesis dimension, which has a day and night cycle and has stars in the background as well as massively faster than Light due to his constant progression and power-ups throughout the series, and due to him scaling to characters who move faster than Haku between his mirrors. But with all that being said, let's get into Luffy scaling and see where he stacks up in comparison. To start off, we have to go over Whitebeard because of his statements about his Devil Fruit. Whitebeard's Devil Fruit, the Gura Gura no Mi, was stated that it could tilt the earth and even destroy the world with its powerful vibrations. This should make Whitebeard and anyone that scales to and above him planetary in terms of strength. As of right now, there isn't anything that I'm aware of that puts Luffy over planetary in terms of AP, so for right now, I'll leave it at that. To cover Luffy's speed, we have to go over some statements and abilities, specifically the abilities of Kizaru and the Pacifistas. To cover Kizaru first, he ate the Glint Glint fruit, which is a devil fruit that has been stated to let Kizaru move and attack at the speed of light. Kizaru is also so fast that he was stated to be the fastest Navy Admiral during the pre-time skip, and he might still be the fastest Navy Admiral currently. The emphasis on Kizaru's devil fruit is speed, so much so that he is not only able to travel as literal light itself, but he can also shoot laser beams as well. We also know that people can train their devil fruits to make them stronger and awaken them, and we know that Kizaru is always using his devil fruit, like he's pretty much spamming it anytime we see him in a fight. And if you take Haki Bloom into account, because Kizaru took part in the Paramount War and has most likely been training with his devil fruit and taking on pretty dangerous missions, it's not unlikely to assume that he's probably much faster than he was during the pre-time skip, but we have yet to see Kizaru do anything post-time skip until he arrives on Egghead, so I'll just leave him at that. On to the Pacifistas though, they were stated to have Kizaru's devil fruit ability of being able to fire lasers. It's unclear if they had all of Kizaru's abilities, most likely not, but it's still worth mentioning. After the post-time skip, Luffy and many of the Straw Hats were able to constantly dodge and react to these same lasers that their pre-time skip selves had extreme difficulty dodging and reacting to. This means that Luffy during the pre-time skip should at the bare minimum be comparable to, if not faster than pre-time skip Kizaru. Now let me be perfectly clear here. I am not saying that Luffy right when the post-time skip starts and he is on Saba Odi Archipelago can straight up defeat Kizaru. I don't think Luffy during this time at all is Admiral level. He's not. I'm just saying that in terms of his reaction and combat speed, he is able to react to and dodge Kizaru's laser beams. Not that he was able to actually damage and beat him in a fight, so please don't try to assume that's what I'm saying. Anyways, Kizaru, because of his devil fruit, is without a doubt the speed of light. There are way too many statements from the data books, Viva cards, characters within the verse, etc., for it to not be the case. So I do hope that you all don't think he isn't. Now, it is more difficult to prove that Kizaru is faster than this, like being FTL or MFTL. You could argue it, but there's a lot of difficulty doing so to give you a solid ground. So I won't do that, and I'll just leave Luffy at the speed of light. And now that I've covered both Naruto and Luffy, who do I think wins between these two if they were to fight? My answer is Naruto, and I'm going to explain why. Aside from the higher scaling and better feats from him during the series, he also has some unique abilities that I think just put Luffy in a tough spot. Naruto can regenerate, he has all of the Tail Beast's power within him and can use many of their abilities. He has access to his Sage of Six Paths mode, Sage mode, Kurama Avatar mode, Baryon mode if he really has to use it, and more. Yes, Luffy does have Advanced Armament Haki and Advanced Conqueror's Haki, which allow him to simultaneously attack his targets without actually touching them, and being able to bypass their durability. And yes, he also has Future Sight, which allows him to actually see into the future and predict his opponent's movements. But that really doesn't matter because of the overwhelming gap in stats. We know that if you use Future Sight and you're fighting someone that's significantly faster than you, it's pretty much no point, which Naruto is. And not only that, even if he were to use Advanced Armament Haki to pretty much hit him from the inside out or even not having to touch him, Naruto is just too fast and too strong for Luffy to deal with. Luffy really can't damage Naruto in any possible way because he'll just keep regenerating. And we know that Naruto was able to regenerate a punctured lung, so yeah. And would probably just one-shot Luffy like he did Toneri. Now, although Luffy does have access to his Gear 5, it still wouldn't help. Sure, Luffy is only limited to his imagination and could spring himself back to life if he dies, but he can't keep doing this infinitely, and I'm pretty sure him doing that actually shortens his lifespan anyway, so it's not looking too good for Luffy at all during this fight right now. And even if you take Baryon mode into account, it also shaves off life force, so it'll just probably kill Luffy even faster. But as I said, Naruto more than likely wouldn't even need it to beat Luffy, and although Luffy does have Toon Force, it still wouldn't help. This fight is not close at all, and I hope that I was able to help convey that with this topic. Luffy is the GOAT, but sadly he just loses. Thank you all for watching the video. Please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and comment if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.